Netherlands Prime Minister Donald Tusk has confirmed that Russian drones were shot down in Polish airspace overnight. He said it was the first time this had happened in NATO territory. Mr. Tusk called it a large-scale provocation and said he was ready to repel such provocation. Well, the incursions happened during Russian attacks on targets in Ukraine, and Ukraine's President Zelensky said it set an extremely dangerous precedent for Europe. Russia is yet to comment. Well, Mr. Tusk has been meeting with defence and security officials to discuss the violations. He said that although the search for drones is ongoing, there was no reason to panic and the situation is now under control.
What if NATO's most secure lifeline could be crippled in minutes? That's exactly the fear Poland faced the moment Kalibr cruise missiles and Orlan drones came roaring out of Kaliningrad. But here's the twist: this wasn't just a defensive scramble.
Yes, Kasia, this is obviously not the first time that Russian drones have violated Polish airspace, but this is the first time that Polish and NATO allied military aircraft, the Dutch F-35s, are currently stationed in Poland.
And although the ongoing situation is now descaled, Adam, obviously this is a huge concern.
Engaged Russian drones and shot them down. This is the first time, as Prime Minister Tusk said in his remarks ahead of the government crisis meeting, this he's described as probably a large-scale provocation.
Within minutes, Polish jets, tanks, and cyber teams flipped the script, pushing the fight back across the border. So what happened next? And how close did this clash come to rewriting the balance of power in Europe? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
The authorities in Minsk in Belarus, where we know that two of these drones have been discovered. Polish police have confirmed one, and local authorities have confirmed another, landed without causing any casualties, but damage to one house, and were heading towards Poland. But the significance of this, although no casualties have been reported, Mr. Tusk said, this is the first time that so many drones, we don't know exactly how many, President Zelensky in Ukraine said 8, quite close to the Belarusian border with Poland, in eastern Poland. We know that the authorities in Minsk have said that they alerted the Polish military that drones had gone off course.
One moment the skies above eastern Poland are quiet, the next they are streaked with Kalibr missiles arcing over the horizon and swarms of Orlan 30 drones buzzing like locusts. Villagers in border towns look up as trails of exhaust carve faint lines against the night, radar screens inside Polish air defense centers flashing with crimson overlays. An entire sector blazes with alerts, and commanders know what that means. Kaliningrad, the heavily armed Russian enclave on the Baltic coast, has just lit the fuse. If Poland cannot stop this strike, the narrow passage that links NATO's Baltic members to the rest of the alliance could crack apart in an instant. For years, military planners warned about the Baltic corridor.
Donald Tusk said a large number had entered Polish airspace, violating Polish airspace, and had actually been shot down. So that's the first time that this has happened, and the Polish military called it an unprecedented act of aggression.
Whatever has happened, however this has got to this position, Donald Tusk and Karol Nawrocki, the new president, they're going to have to be working together in order to try and work out how best to deal with this situation. So tell me, Adam, then we're not 100% sure if this was a deliberate attempt for Russian drones to stray into Polish airspace.
Now the threat is alive, unfolding second by second. The first missile wave screams across, traveling beneath Polish radar coverage until they climb into view, their warheads aimed toward logistical depots, power lines, and airfields anchoring NATO's front edge. The idea is simple: sever Poland's connection to Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, cut the lifeline, fracture the alliance. To ordinary families in wooden houses near the frontier, it feels unstoppable. To Polish commanders tied into NATO's command grid, this is the moment they trained for, a moment they must flip before the first warhead finds its mark. Scramble orders transmit instantly.
That's right, Kasia. Mr. Tusk and President Navratsky have already met this morning in a meeting of the National Security Bureau, and they are coordinating there. They are from different political camps, of course. As I said, this is not the first time Poland has been the victim of missile attacks from the war, Russia's full-scale war in Ukraine. 2 Polish citizens have been killed just after the war started. They're opponents on the domestic political scene, but when it comes to national security, they're on the same side. And their comments this morning are suggesting a joint effort in terms of response to these incursions.
Polish pilots race to their F-16CS, cutting across the tarmac before the sirens finish. Engines roar, wings dip, and the jets claw into the night sky with heat trails drawing curls over the countryside. Their mission: intercept the spearhead of cruise missiles before they can cross the frontier. The pilots lock targets, arm AM-120 missiles, and fire into black air. Seconds later, bright blossoms flash across the horizon as Russian missiles vanish mid-flight. Not all are destroyed, enough slip through to keep commanders sharp, but the key is momentum. Poland is no longer running. It's reaching back. On the ground, the defense does not look like old Cold War trenches. Langusta rocket batteries angle upward, tubes primed but not yet released. Leopard 2A5 tanks move into position, not massed in fields but dispersed across terrain to shield long villages strung along the border. Their purpose is not only to fire but to cover what Poland values most: civilians inside their homes, transformers supplying heat, roads reserved for evacuation. Instead of a static line, the shield is flexible, shifting to plug whatever gap might appear. Already soldiers are digging in, using forested ridges and rural barns to hide launchers from the Russian satellites circling overhead. Then something unusual happens. Low observable drones, sized like compact cars, lift quietly from Polish soil and head east. They do not aim for fuel depots or missile trucks. Instead they climb toward Russian radar fields, designed to resemble bombers closing in. The Russians do what their doctrine dictates: they launch expensive S-400 interceptors. One after another, the missiles streak upward, tearing holes into empty air, hunting phantoms that never existed. Within minutes, millions of dollars worth of interceptors detonate harmlessly. The logic is sharp: let Russia burn through stockpiles chasing ghosts while Poland conserves its real strength. Meanwhile, across broken fields, robotic decoys crawl outward. Their only job is to distort radar, creating the image of advancing armor divisions. Russian observers track what appear to be dozens of tanks pushing forward, unaware that most weigh less than a soldier. Electronic warfare trucks switch on, spraying the spectrum, slicing data links between Orlan drones and their operators. Blinded, many drones spiral aimlessly before crashing into trees or fields. For the first time in hours, Polish villages feel quiet again, though the rumble of jets overhead reminds them that silence is temporary. Within 10 minutes the tempo changes. Strike sites inside Kaliningrad light up on Polish screens, their emission signatures exposed once Russian early warning radars shrink under pressure from the drone deception. Counterfire begins almost